you love to play. Oh, you love to play. Don't your comments won't relay. Sign this on my page for you. Oh my God, he changed. Young life, I can't see back karma. I just need some brains so I could keep myself in order.
He got problems, she got problems, only I got 411 problems. Hey, hi, what's up, y'all? It's time for another story time. And yes, this is the story time about the first fight that I had with a boy. Anyway, so I think I'm in like 6th grade. I think I'm like 6th grade or 5th grade. Anyway, so remember like how I tell y'all like my butt has been huge since I was 2, since I was born. Like my butt has been huge, right? So for whatever reason, like boys used to think like passing by girls, and not necessarily girls with huge butts, just girls period, they thought like copping a feel was cool, like walking by the girl, rubbing on her butt, you feeling like that's cool, made sense to them, right? Well, lo and behold, at this time, like I'm on the bus, right? And at this time, my uncle is driving the bus, like my biological blood uncle. He is driving the bus for me to get to school and for me to get home. He is the actual bus driver of the bus that I am driving. I mean, riding, not driving. Never driven a school bus. So we sat, and I wouldn't say I sat in the back of the bus, but more like in the middle, like kind of in between of the spaces. Like I'm kind of close to the back, but I'm still kind of close to the middle type situation in that area. So I don't know what I was doing. Like I do remember having on like this sweatsuit, like the jogging suit, like the cotton one, where you it's like the shirt in the pants, like it matches the color. And I remember it being pink. I don't remember why I walked to the back of the bus and why I was walking back up. But there was this one dude who also he would constantly be like, "Come here, come to the back of the bus." He was a little older than me. I think he was like 2 years older than me, but still, I mean, you know, because we're in the fighting ring. Since we're in that realm of the fighting ring, might as well tell this story anyway. Again, I don't know why I was walking to the back of the bus or I was coming from the back of the bus. Either way, it was two boys back there, and as me walking back to the front of the bus to go to my seat, felt the need somebody felt the need to use their hands to run their hands across my butt. Actually, what it was called was Copperfield. So when I turned around, boy A, boy A pointed at boy B and was like, it was him. And so I was like, "Did you touch my butt? Did you touch my booty?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Which one of y'all touched my booty? Because one of y'all getting hit. Because nobody should be touching me. So which one of y'all touched my booty?" And so boy A was like, "I'm telling you, he didn't." He was like, boy B was like, "Boy, quit lying, quit lying. It was you. Which one of y'all touched my booty? Because one of y'all getting hit." So they started laughing, but so neither one of them was telling me like which one of them touched my booty. So when I turned around to go walk off, I was like, whatever, just don't do that dumb ass again. Don't do that dumb again. When I turned around to go sit down, somebody did it again. But it's on the side of boy B. So I ain't asked no questions. I just basically slapped his hand. And so he jumped up. And when he jumped up, I was like, "What's up?" So he pushed me. We start fighting. And at this point in time, like, I don't even realize, like, I won't say like strength, but like technique, so to speak. Like, I'm in the days of why am I even fighting? But both of us are windmilling. Windmilling, honey. Windmilling each other with fists swinging. We windmilling. So people, of course, like, you can hear the people in the back. You can hear like, oh, like they fighting or whatever. And so this story time is not long either. And so the next thing that I remember, even with us fighting, is my uncle coming and separating the fight. And as he's separating the fight, like, he pushes boy B like in the chair, and he was like, sit down. And then he yanks me. Yeah, he yanks me. He was like, don't you ever come back here again. Go to your seat. And tell me to go to my seat. So as I'm turning to go to my seat, I see boy A put his hand out to boy B, like, like you gave him a high five. And it's like, at this moment, I'm thinking, I was like, both of you are boys and you fighting a girl. And still at this point, I don't know which one of y'all was copping the field. So was it you, boy A? I don't know who it was. But literally, it's like, it's crazy because I just got into a fight. Somebody just felt me up twice. And you giving each other dap for fighting a girl. Disgusting. So when women are now saying, like, boys, or not just women, me in particular, when I tell my friends, like, I'll be like, dudes are like that from birth, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. And that's with raising a son. It's like, some of the things and some of the mentality that my son says, and I be looking at him like, and it don't make sense to me because I know I didn't raise you that way. And it's like, it has to be something that y'all are just born with like that. But anyway, it was like the discuss, right? Okay, so no, I had to be in like 5th grade. We had to be in 5th grade because we still had to go get the high school students. And so, because the high school students had gotten on the bus yet. So I sat back in my seat. And so the person who sat on the seat with me, because we had assigned seats. So the person who sat on the seat with me, she was like, girl, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm straight. And so I was like, yeah, I'm straight. And so she was like, girl, that's crazy. She was like, what happened? Why did y'all end up fighting? And I was like, girl, somebody copped the field. Somebody copped the field twice. And I don't know who did. I said neither one of them wanted to admit who did it. And I was like, so literally, I was like, the second time, like, I just popped one of the boys and we just ended up fighting. And so she was like, yo, that's crazy. And I was like, right. And so she was like, wait. You fought a boy? And I was like, yeah, girl, it's boys. And so she was like, that's crazy. She was like, why would they want to fight a girl anyway? And she was like, and then on top of that, if y'all was copping fields, why would you? And I was like, yeah, it don't even make sense. It's whatever. So we got to the high school because we left the middle school. We left the middle school. So when we left the middle school, we got to the high school. We were waiting for the high school students to get on the bus. So waiting for once the high school student get on the bus, boy B, who I fought, he had 2 older sisters. So when he's getting on the bus, like, the kids are telling him, like, oh, your brother got into a fight. And so they was like, who you got into a fight with? Who you was fighting? And they was like, Angel. And so they was like, Angel? These heifers, you didn't say, why are you fighting a girl? You shouldn't be fighting a girl. These heifers said, did you win? So according to the kids it was really only one person that saw the fight, which was boy A. So according to boy A was like, yeah, he won. He beat her up. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, did you ask him if he won instead of telling him, like, you shouldn't be fighting a girl? And so she was like, well, why was you fighting my brother anyway? And I was like, one of his sisters. Well, why was you fighting my brother anyway? And I said, because when I walked by, one of them, either boy A or boy B, felt up on my butt. Oh, well, you shouldn't be doing that. But you beat her up. You beat her up. Like, I promise you. Like, looking back now and thinking, like, so when kids be like, high school and school is traumatic, believe them, it is very traumatic. And this is what I tell my kid, and I was like, school wasn't different for us either. It was traumatic because kids are kids are nasty. Kids like, ooh like, it's crazy the amount of trauma a child can cause, but then in the same breath would want sympathy and empathy if the tables was turned and they were the victim. So it was the simple fact that she was sitting there, you're the older sister and you are a female, and you are hyping the fact up that your brother won the fight, and the fact that he hit a girl, and the fact that he was fighting because supposedly, allegedly, he felt up a girl. And none of that bothered you? None of that bothered you? So when they're getting off the bus, the other sister, like I said, he had two. She was laughing and snickering on her way off the bus because they sat behind me. So on your way off the bus, you laughing and snickering off the bus. Then the second sister was like, bet you won't fight my brother again. I said, as soon as he come down on my neighborhood, I bet you I would. I said, as a matter of fact, I'll just have my brother come through. Now, mind you, my brother is reckless. Reckless. Like, reckless at this point. And I was like, I'll just have my brother come through. I said, not even that. I'll just let my mama know, and then my mama will pull up at y'all house. So you stop smiling, you stop snickering once I said that. Cause it's like, what? Yeah, cause see, I'm pretty sure that your mama wouldn't like the fact that her son was fighting a girl, and then he was either one of the persons who felt her up twice. Because literally, if you didn't do it, all you had to do was say he did it. Because boy A was saying you did it. Literally, after you got off the bus, because boy A got off the bus before me, and boy A still said, yo, he did fill you up though. It was him who felt your butt. And I was like, right, so it wasn't you, it was him. Yeah, it was him. It was him that felt your butt. I said, either way, one way or the other, my mama's gonna find out because my mama's gonna know. Oh man, what you getting your mama involved for? Man, stop being a tattletale, because we didn't say snitches back then. Stop being a tattletale. Like, you handle your own problems. So again, back then, your mama carried weight. So saying I'm gonna say my mama was big. It was a big thing because my mama didn't play about her kids, and she didn't. So she was gonna show up. She was gonna knock on your door. That's where I get it from. She was gonna knock on your door to find out why is it that you touch your kid, especially if we told her. Now, if we didn't say nothing, yeah. But if we say, hey, this is what happened and this is what went down, it is what it is. And I'm gonna tell my mom before anyway, because my uncle is driving the bus, so he's going to tell her because that's his sister. So I'd rather beat him to the punch. So when I get home, she's home. She's off this day. And so when I walk in, she would always say, hey, how was your day? And I said, oh, it was good until I was fighting on the bus. And so she was like, why was you fighting on the bus? And I said, I don't know which boy A, and I knew his name, and I called out his name. And I was like, boy A or boy B, and I called out his name. I was like, I don't know which one, but one of those boys felt me up twice. I said, so the first time I asked repeatedly who did it, nobody wanted to fess up. I said, when I asked again, nobody wanted to fess up. I said, when I went to turn around to go sit to my seat and just let it go because nobody was fessing up, they did it again. And I said, but it felt like it came from boy B, so I just smacked boy B. And so she was like, you were wrong for doing that because you should find out who it was exactly first. But I understand. So she said, well, that's fine. Let me call boys B mama. So, of course, when you call boy B's mama and the mama asks about it, and the mama, you can hear the mama in the background. First of all, you shouldn't be putting your hand on no girl. How would you feel if some man put his hand on me? Period. So she was like, and second of all, who did it? Who, if it was just you, if it was just boy A and you're boy B, which one of y'all did it? Which one of y'all did it? So he was like, well, I ain't do it. So it was boy A. So I need to call boy A mama? Because it was done twice. So I ain't do it. So she's saying, so she hit you for nothing? That's what you saying? Because if that was the case, you could have, that could have solved it. And so he was like, I ain't do it. So my mama was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to go to boy A mama and find out what's going on. Well, most of the time, boy A, he wasn't really with his mama. Most of the time, he was with his grandmama. And his grandmama didn't play that either. So, going to the grandma house, knocking on the grandma door and telling the grandma the situation. The grandma don't play that. She said, well, you wasn't for. She was like, who did it? Yeah, and if y'all don't catch on, us gonna get you people, especially in my neighborhood, we talk fast. So she was like, who did it? And so according to my mama, my mama chimed in. My mama was like, well, boy B is saying he didn't do it, but he's not calling out boys A name, but it was only two of y'all back there. So who did it? So boy A is saying no, it was boy B. So my mama was like, this is getting nowhere. Neither one of the boys don't want to say who did what. So this is getting nowhere. All I'm gonna say is don't put your hand on my child. Don't touch my child. And so his grandmother was like, I totally agree. She was like, and so for that, since you don't want to fess up and since you don't want to tell on the other boy, you gonna be on punishment. You gonna be in trouble. He was like, man, you gonna be on punishment. So my mama called boy B's mom back, and she was like, well, boy A is not saying who did it either. And so she was like, so she was like, I just wanted to call back and give you an update because he's not saying he did it, and boy B is not saying boy A did it either. She was like, but what we do know that it was a fight, and regardless, like, no boy should be putting their hand on my kid. So she was like, somebody touched her for her to get to the point where she want to fight. So the lady was like, well, I apologize. She said, because he shouldn't be putting his hand on no girl anyway. So you should have been walking away in the first place. And she was like, and what did your sister say? Because you're older. You're in high school. Why are you hyping up your little brother to fight a girl? And then finding out that there's a possibility he violated this little girl. So he was like, they wanted to know if I wanted to fight. She said, what? My mama shook her head. She was like, well, this is as far as it's gonna go anyway. We can't get to the bottom of it. I appreciate you, hearing me out because, I just wanted to, let you know. And so she was like, okay, thank you for calling. She hung up. I don't know what happened with them or whatever to that extent. I don't know what happened. So, of course, my mom was like, not apologize. Basically, I'm sorry that you went through that. She was like, but you can't fight all your battles, Angel. And I was like, I know that. And I was like, but you already, they touched me one time, and then you touched me the second time. What I'm supposed to do? Just still walk away? And that's just not me. I'm already fighting your husband. I'm already fighting Nightmare. And I know I can't beat him. So I'm going to fight this one because he my height. He on my age level. I'm going to fight him. Somebody at some point going to realize, you can't just touch me and do whatever. So she was like, I understand. Not the touching part, but the simple part of me fighting him. So later on, of course, the phone rings and I answer the phone and it's my uncle. He was like, where your mama? Because I got to tell her about your fight. And to let her know, like, I'm going to write you up. What you going to write me up for? Like, why you just can't let it go? Why you can't let it go? Anyway, so I was like, mama's telephone. So gave her the phone and she was talking on the phone. She was like, yeah, she told me. You gonna write her up. Write her up for what? Are you serious? Well, do what you gotta do. Hung up the phone. So she was like, he told you he gotta write you up. And I was like, yeah, that's stupid. He don't have to write me up. Because at this point in time, there's no cameras on the bus. So why are you writing me up, sir? This is up to your discretion. You do not have to write me up. Anyway, but he ended up writing me and Boy B up. So while we're sitting in the office, because we were in the office at the same time, because we got called in the office at the same time. So the principal was like, you're fighting a girl? And so she was like, but why are you hitting him? And I was like, somebody felt me up. Nobody wanted to admit to it. And when I turned around to walk away from the situation, somebody felt me up again. She was like, oh. And I was like, right. So she was like, what? Still, you can't just go hitting people. And I was like, she was like, so for the fight, I'm going to give y'all 1 day in, ISS, in school suspension. So went in school suspension. And of course, the lady, actually this was my first in school suspension situation. The girl fight that story time, that was my second time. This was my first time, which is why I was like, I hate ISS, because I had already had it from another situation too. So it was this fight, and then I had another situation, and then the girl fight. Hate ISS. Anyway, so we're in there, and of course, the lady asked, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? That remedy. And I was like, fighting. And she was like, fighting who? And I pointed, and I was like, fighting Boy B. And so she was like, you fought a girl? Like, for the life of me, I couldn't understand why his sisters couldn't grasp the concept, like, you're fighting a girl. Instead of asking, like, did you win? So he was like, yeah, like, she hit me. So she was like, why did you hit him? Like, you don't go around hitting people. And I was like, no, I don't. And I was like, but somebody felt me up. When I asked who it was, Boy A said it was Boy B. Boy B said it wasn't him. And I said, and even with me getting ready to walk away from the situation, somebody felt me up again. And so Boy B, she was like, so why didn't you say who it was? Why would you allow it to, if it wasn't you, why wouldn't you say it was Boy A? That little boy said, because he's my friend. I said, so it was Boy A. He's like, oh man. I said, so we going through all this when you could have said it was Boy A from the jump? And I could have, dealt with Boy A. And I said, matter of fact, could have had my mama just went and handled the whole situation instead of fighting. Because Boy A was a little bigger than Boy B, but still. Nah. I'm not saying it was him. I'm not saying it wasn't me. I'm just saying. And so the lady was like, what sense are you making right now? She was like, you are violating. She said, number one, you're violating somebody's personal space. And she said, and then on top of that, you are a young man fighting a young woman. What sense are you making right now? She was like, you know that's frowned upon. Like, nobody likes a woman beater. So he was like, I'm not a woman beater. She said, you fought a girl. She said, what if that, she was like, do you have sisters? And he was like, yes, ma'am. And so she was like, so what if that was your sister? What if there's this man and he's hitting and beating on your sister, or he violated your sister? Oh, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have that. Mind you, he's younger and they're way taller than him. But even if that was the case and you had to defend your sisters, you were going to lose. But I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have that. She said, this is somebody's sister. This is somebody's daughter. Why do you feel the need like she doesn't deserve the same respect that your sisters have? She was like, right. So she was like, she was like, please, number one, you don't touch a woman's body without her permission. Don't go around touching people. And number two, don't fight no girl. She was like, I know your mama told you. He was like, yeah, I've been getting in trouble. I've been hearing about it. I got in trouble with my dad. I just been hearing about it. He was like, okay, I'm sorry. And so she was like, so who touched her? The first time it was boy A. The second time it was me. So you deserve the slap. You deserve the fight. Anyway, she was like, apologize to her. He was like, I'm sorry. I really apologize. I shouldn't have touched you. I didn't even respond or nothing about that. And so she went on to the other people. That's not important. We get on the bus and I'm sitting in my seat, like talking to the person who sits next to me, because again, we have assigned a seat, so it's the same person. So his sisters get on the bus, and so his sister was like, you just had to tell your mama, huh? You just had to tell your mama. So I turned around and I said, I told you I was going to tell my mama. I told you I was going to tell my mama about the fight and about somebody touching me. And I said, you know what's real crazy? The teacher in ISS today gave an example of and asked him, if that was your sisters, how would you feel? And he didn't like it. I said, but yet here you are trying to boost up the simple fact that I shouldn't have said nothing. That I should be cool with him violating me and feeling on me. I said, and he admitted to feeling on me. You touched her without her permission. Now you got an attitude. Now what's the issue? Girl. He was like, that was already squashing ISS. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. I apologize, Angel, in front of everybody. I shouldn't have never touched you. Boy A. Police. Yeah. So anyway, that's the story time of my first fight. I love you the most because you're definitely the dopest in real life. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.